Hey everyone, this is Editing Drew here. Just letting you know that as we were talking about our shows and series, we got a bit carried away. We ended up recording nearly 2 hours of this episode, so there were a lot of shows that we wanted to talk about. So just to make sure it didn't feel overwhelming, we've split this up into 2 parts, a little more bite-sized chunks. So this is part 1 with part 2 to follow next Friday. So enjoy, everyone. Welcome back to the Triple XP Arcade, the podcast where nerd culture levels up. We're here to press X on all things nerdy, so grab a token, press start, and let's rack up some
Triple XP!
Today in the arcade, as always, we have myself, Drew.
Hey everyone, you have Lex logged in.
Sup, it's Gigs.
All right, we are week 2 into 2026, and we wanted to talk about some more series and shows. I know the first week we talked about our comfort comedy shows, and there were a ton of those types of shows that the three of us have seen, over and over again. We can quote beginning to end, but there are still a lot of really good shows that haven't quite made that legendary level for us yet, but are really, really good, and we would still recommend to each other. Still really good watches. So on today's episode, we're actually going to be talking about some shows that are probably less of the comedy style ones, because there's a lot of just good shows out there that aren't all, half an hour sitcom comedies, right? So pre-warning again, we're talking about series and shows here, so there are definitely going to be spoilers in this episode. So if you hear us start a topic and you really, really don't want to hear spoilers for that particular show, maybe just jump ahead to the next section. Okay, fair warning for everyone. If you're listening, you might get hit with some spoilers. You both good with that too?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Thumbs up all around. Okay. The first thing, I'm going to get it kicked off today because I think we're still in the midst of all the hubbub. Did you both finish Stranger Things yet?
Negative.
Yes, we finished Volume 2 in a single sitting.
Wow.
Volume 2 so you haven't seen the finale yet?
We did. That was Volume 2. We, last time we had stopped at the end of Volume 1, so episodes 1 through 4, and then we did episodes 5 through 8 in a single sitting.
Oh, sorry. I think it's because when they released Volume 2, it was 5 through 7, and then the finale was episode 8. Okay, so you've watched.
Okay.
So you've watched the finale. You're done the show. And so, Gigs, you have not seen any of season 5 yet.
Correct. I have not seen any of season 5.
Okay.
You guys can talk about it. I ain't stressed. It's fine.
You're not worried about spoilers or anything here for season 5 or how the show ends?
No, not really. I'll be honest with you, spoilers in general don't really bother me too much anymore. So you guys can go nuts.
You've got spoiler armor? Wait, what in your life happened? Was it the Harry Potter thing?
That was the worst of it. That was the worst it could possibly get. And I've never committed myself to anything quite as hard anymore to defend myself from disappointment. That
is fair, but weirdly very sad and upsetting to hear in that phrasing.
It's A-okay. I think of it this way. If I really care, I'll spend the time and get it out of the way. But if I haven't put in the effort, especially it's already been a couple months, it's past the point where I mind.
Okay. You have a short statute of limitations, it sounds like.
That's totally.
I appreciate that, though, because there are some people, where you're like, what's a good example? The Sixth Sense. And they're like, oh, you spoiled the ending. And you're like, dude, The Sixth Sense is 30 years old now.
Yeah.
You can't be upset about that, right?
Haley Joel Osment is 40. You can't even.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I appreciate that. Well, we won't get into too many really, really specific spoilers, so you'll still be able to enjoy it if you do watch it through. Now, okay, the big thing here, I don't know if you've been sort of a part of the buzz on the internet, Lex, now that you've seen the whole show. The series finale aired on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, one of those two. So the show is ended. The show is completely done now. But there has been this trend of conformity gate. Have you heard of this, Lex?
No, what is that?
You've not heard of conformity gate. Okay.
Conformity gate as in like Pizzagate or whatever when they tack it on to the end of something. I see.
Yep,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So the conformity gate thing that's going around is it seems that people were not super satisfied with the finale. Now there's kind of two trains of thought. Some people liked the finale. They said it was a really, really good way to kind of wrap up the stories of everyone, give a nice ending to everyone, show finishes like that. Then there's this group of people that are kind of more on the hardcore Stranger fans train, where they are like, that's not the finale. Impossible. There's no way that can be the finale. Here's reasons why. And there has been a suspicion of a hidden or secret 9th episode to show what the true finale should and would be. And that's what the buzz has been happening for the last 2 weeks. So that's why in the last week's episode, I was saying, I'm really surprised neither of you have heard of this, because there are social media posts from the Stranger Things account, from the Netflix official account. There are a bunch of YouTube videos and people showing proof and reasons why they think this episode 9 should be released. The first one was on January 7th. There was an overwhelming amount of evidence that indicated that there would be a secret episode dropped on the 7th. As you might expect, now that you've seen it, Lex, nothing happened on the 7th. A lot of people convinced that, okay, it didn't happen on the 7th, but the 11th is actually when it should happen, another secret episode. Again, with a lot of proof that makes sense. Nothing on the 11th. And then lastly, we have the Stranger Things behind the scenes documentary, One Last Adventure. That came out just this past Monday, the 12th. People were thinking this is going to be like a very meta way to give us a secret 9th episode, kind of hidden behind the guise of a documentary. Did you watch the documentary, Lex?
No, I have not. Is it any good? I heard mixed reviews on it, so I kind of wanted to leave on a good note.
It sort of depends on how you feel about the ending,
okay.
if that makes sense. So the short version is that the documentary obviously was just a documentary. There was no secret hidden anything or whatever. Some people, a good amount of people, are a little bit disappointed. So now the reason why this is a big deal, just to give you some context, Gigs, is because as you watch season 5, and this isn't necessarily a specific spoiler, but if you do watch it, pay attention to the little details all throughout the season. So the Duffer Brothers have sort of made a habit or a trend of throwing in really, really specific details in all of the previous seasons, and you either tie them in or they relate to the story or they give you kind of hints on where the story's going. Lots of hidden clues in all of their episodes, and season 5 was no different. But the ending of season 5 made no sense at all.
Wait. So you're saying in previous seasons they hid things?
And I wouldn't say they hid things necessarily, but they had very intentional writing. So, for example, like the dialogue, you might think it's just the kids playing D&D or something. But then if you take a look at the big picture of that season, you can see that dialogue that they were having during their D&D session sort of ties into elements of things happening throughout the season. So like that kind of thing. Let's say if it almost feels like it was very well thought out and very well written, as though you're kind of writing smaller segments towards a big picture, right?
Okay.
Now, Lex, did you like the end, the finale? Did you like the finale?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to lie to you. I am terrible at finding Easter eggs. I can't even find Easter eggs during Easter. So the fact that there are hidden messages throughout the season, I 100% missed all of that. The ending was okay. Like, it wasn't like amazing. It wasn't bad. It was just
okay.
Normal. Yeah. Like they definitely could have done better. Totally. But I also feel like they could have done worse too.
Yep. I think that's the general consensus. It sort of fell flat. It was like you have this huge buildup. The final season of Stranger Things, I think, had a budget of $400 million or something like that. Oh, wow. Yeah, it was huge. It's like bigger budget than a lot of blockbuster movie budgets kind of thing. And the ending was just, I think now it's sort of being compared to like the Game of Thrones finale.
Where no, really?
They really botched it. But the interesting thing, though, was for the first week after, from January 1st to the 7th, when all these conformity gate theories have popped up, it didn't feel like a botched ending. So the entire season was building up and had all of these clues and stuff that sort of, if you were paying attention, you would notice. But then because the ending fell flat, what was really disappointing in the documentary is that the Duffer Brothers said that they hadn't finished writing the end of the show when they started filming the season.
No, that's the
so
worst.
They started filming episode 1, and they hadn't written the ending yet.
That's the same as Game of Thrones. They were just making it up as they went along.
Oh man!
Yeah. And it just ooh,
building the bridge as you go, right?
So they actually called that out in the documentary, and they decided to not edit that out and release it. That's
okay. Yeah, the documentary was wild to me because there have been conversations that the Duffer Brothers are either geniuses. They've done this whole meta things that the audience is involved in, hidden clues and everything. So people are saying, oh man, if this episode 9 comes out, they're going to be legends because of the way that they've done this. Now, the other side of the coin was that they're just completely talking out of their butts and they have no idea what they're doing. And the documentary on Monday, it suggested the latter. It was about 2 hours, a 2-hour documentary of the Duffer Brothers just talking about how they didn't know what they were doing for the entire season.
Yikes.
So it's really interesting because the fan theories of the true ending or what's happening as a part of this ending or how to interpret the finale, they're all so much better than the actual ending of the show. And the crazy thing is, the reason I think everyone got so invested, myself included, is because there's proof. There's proof all throughout the seasons. If someone's like, this is what happens, they can give screenshots, dialogue, clips that all kind of make sense. And you're like, okay, that 100% makes sense based off all of the clues that have been dropped. But it turns out the Duffer Brothers just didn't know what they were doing and they just lucked out to have all of these loose pieces that people can fit together, but has no intention of actually being a part of the story or going together. One of the things that they've been saying in interviews recently is they keep saying, oh, like if a fan theory sounds really good and plausible, they'll be like, oh yeah, that just happened off screen. So it's just a total cop out on everything. But oh gosh, it's they had a really, really good opportunity to be absolutely legendary and totally botched it. So it's really disappointing.
Yeah, so, the season before last was incredibly good.
Good.
Yeah, that once, I can't even remember who she is, the artist, that Running Uphill song got entrenched in the zeitgeist for a bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad to hear that they succumbed to the Game of Thrones of it all.
Yeah. And you know what? It's like it's same right up until the finale. Like the season, everything in season 5 was pretty good. It was really intense, good build up on things. I was really enjoying the story, and then the finale. The first 40 minutes of the finale were really good, and then they just totally botch it at the very end of the show to close things out. So A little bit disappointed on that front, but
Yeah, I wish the fight with Vecna was longer than Will's coming out of the closet.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know. Maybe it was just the
disappointing.
action of it, but that scene felt shorter than that other scene. So,
Yeah,
like with all the buildup, I'm like, first of all, like where are all the other Demogorgons here? They just ended when they got to the abyss. So I was a little confused on that and everything there, but yeah, hits and misses in that finale.
It's crazy. The just to kind of give you a visual gigs on what was expected versus what we got. It's like in the Lord of the Rings, right? When you're going to Mount Doom, and then you have the army of orcs there that are basically stopping you from like dropping the ring in, right?
Yeah.
Like you have an army of opposition because you've built this final climax for 3 whole movies. So imagine in that same scenario, they get to, the final challenge of Mount Doom, like they're right there, and it's just it's just clean walk right to the end. Nothing there, and nothing that you've been battling over for the last 5 seasons of the show. None of the, I guess, enemies, I want to say, none of the bad guys, none of the dangers that you've been encountering. You just make it to the final level and you just walk straight to the bottom. Yeah. And so that's, as Lexa, one of the biggest gripes is people are like, what is happening here? And the Duffer Brothers were saying, oh, yeah, I think it's just because he didn't expect it. He wasn't expecting to be attacked, so that's why there's no supporting army around him.
So it's just lazy writing. So just
lazy writing
turn into lazy writing at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder though if that's because of like outside pressures. You know what I mean? Like, because I know that's a thing with a lot of like TV and movies. So there's a huge push for stakeholder value, and so in this case, is it just that Stranger Things is so big that they were pressured to just release anything, instead of actually figuring it out properly?
Yeah. I think that's actually something that they mentioned in the documentary, is that they were getting real pressure from Netflix to get these episodes out quickly to Netflix. And so they were kind of scrambling to write. They were running out of time, all that stuff. But the weird thing too here is, again, contradictory, which is what fuels some of these conspiracy theories. They said they didn't finish writing the end of the season when it started filming, but they had interviews in season 1 of the show where they said they already know the entire story. They know how it's going to end. It's all laid out, so they're just playing it out now. So
it's just lies then.
Yeah, yes. One of those is a lie, and evidently it was the latter, where they said it was all planned out, because it very much didn't seem like it was. But yeah, so yeah, this is maybe too much of time to be spending on Stranger Things, but it's topical. It's there's a lot of chatter going on. My feeds are all Stranger Things everything, because everyone has something's coming up this Saturday, or here's a theory, or what's going on with this, because it was just so incredibly poorly botched that people refuse to believe that could be the actual ending, the intended ending that was meant to happen.
Man, so, now I'm curious to just know, because I watched the Game of Thrones finale well after the discourse had like kind of run its course, so I already knew that it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
When I watched it, and now I bet you it's going to be the same. Where it's more, I'm curious to see what exactly everyone's upset about, rather than,
Totally. I mean, the good news is that it's not, going through the season is not a letdown, because it's actually, I thought it was a pretty good season. So episodes 1 through 7, yeah, really, really good ride, fun ride through. It's really just how they close out the show that is a little bit of a letdown. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like the How I Met Your Mother kind of curse. Like it's
for that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's like awesome right up until like literally the end, and you're like, oh man, how did you screw it up right at the finish line?
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a shame, man.
It's a shame. Yeah.
Oh well,
But
I'll catch up on it one of these days.
yeah. Yeah, but then you threw threw another one out there. Just quickly, let's touch base on this Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oof.
did you guys? How invested were you both in Game of Thrones while it was airing?
Extremely.
Oh, really?
Extremely invested. Like, I
Yeah?
would make popcorn before the show started.
Damn.
Like Dragon Ball Z level of invested. Like,
Really?
I would plan my
Holy
night
smokes.
around it. I would text friends about what's happening live. Like, there'd be group chats.
Wow. What, and was that right from season 1? You were right into it?
I think around season 3 is where I got super invested.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was about the same time.
What was happening around season 3 of Game of Thrones? Do you remember, like, what the kind of story arc at that time was?
I think they had just passed the Red Wedding stuff.
Oh, the Red Wedding was...
Yeah, that one was... Ooh, did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I think that's what got me
everyone
too,
lost their
yeah.
minds.
Yeah.
It was... Did either of you read the books?
No. See, I was going to say I was moderately invested. Not enough so that I would be enticed to read again, so... We'll
Not
never
good
read.
enough
Nope.
to make
no.
you read.
Unless they make it a comic, I'm not going to read it. It's
That's
not gonna
fair.
happen.
That's fair. I think, as a quick side note, I think people undervalue the amount of reading that takes place in comics, though. Like, the Watchmen comic book took forever to
True.
read.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course. But the thing is, it's all dialogue. It's not really descriptive text.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Game of Thrones are on season 3. How did the ending work for both of you?
Absolute.
There are
dog
8
water.
seasons, right?
I think there was
7 seasons.
7, yeah.
Is it 7?
7 or 8?
Well, I can't remember. Or are you doing the thing where you're just not counting the last season?
No, I actually don't remember how many seasons there were.
Okay.
But the last season was... It had so much potential. It really did. And then... like, I'm not one to find loopholes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in general, I can't even find Easter eggs, you know what I mean? But holy holes, Batman, in that last season. Like, I think the biggest one for me was the Dothraki. I thought they got wiped out, and then fast forward to when Daenerys is at the kingdom. There's like thousands of them. I'm like, where did you all come from? And where were you earlier? And I thought you were all gone. It was, I think that was the biggest like loophole or like plot hole for me. I was like, what the heck was that?
It's almost like the reverse side of the coin of like the Stranger Things finale, where they just forgot about an entire group, and in Game of Thrones they were just like, oh, it's a finale, let's make it big, let's add the entire Dothraki back without any explanation, but let's just make it a big spectacle.
Yeah, bingo.
Gigs, what do you think? How did you feel?
Oh, I hated it. It was just like, I don't know. It felt like they took everybody's arc and just were like, yeah, never mind. We're good.
Yeah.
We're just going to go back. We're going to go backwards for almost every character. And,
Totally.
yeah, everything they went through, it doesn't really matter. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
that's how I strongly felt about Daenerys's story
Yeah.
arc.
It's so disappointing to just see, like, it's like, okay, don't spend so much time growing all these characters to just have them revert. It's so unsatisfying. Yeah.
I know. And they had, what, like 5-6 seasons of building up Daenerys as this sort of...
The mother of dragons, the
Yeah.
breaker of chains, the leader of the Dothraki, the firstborn. I can't remember all of them, but she's got a lot of titles to rack up there.
Yeah, you kind of just thought that she was going to be the ultimate savior and and then you're just like, last episode just threw all of that out the door, and they were just like, forget all of that build up for her.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, she went through all this hardship, and then we're just going to make her exactly like the person that everyone said she was at the very beginning. It's like, okay, what was the point?
Yeah,
They did that for Jamie. They did that for was it Bran? Bran's the one-eyed crow one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, what was the point for so many of these characters? Like, what was the point? And I mean, the books aren't finished, right? So technically they had to make up an ending, but I don't know. I feel like just go find a bunch of nerds at a convention and they'll write a better ending than that.
That's crazy too. And very true is the fan base always has these really amazing endings or ways that it could have ended or the better way. And you just think to yourself, like, how can it take, a fan who's only just watched the show through its course to come up with this ending in just like a 30-minute internet post versus, a team of hired writers who are following a source material off of a book. Like, it just seems crazy to me that the writing gets poorly treated sometimes for some of these really popular.
I think that's just because it happens whenever the writers aren't themselves huge dorks about the content, right?
That's true. Yeah,
it's like Zack Snyder stuff. He has his interpretation, but you can tell that they're not like real into the actual source material because they'll make concessions that don't make any sense to anybody that actually knows, like the source material. It's like, what? Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense for this character. Sure, it might look cool on screen, but like that defeats the purpose.
Yeah, makes zero sense. Yeah. Quick little anecdote for Game of Thrones. I think you both know the story.
Game of Thrones, basically. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Game of Thrones. So for the finale, it was a big deal. It was like HBO. If you didn't have HBO, you had to figure out where to watch it. I didn't have HBO, so I actually had to go somewhere to watch it. At that time, there was a location, I think it was a cafe or a gaming cafe, or I guess that's what you would call it. And they were selling tickets for a Game of Thrones viewing party. So you buy a ticket, you come, and then you get to watch the finale with like a bunch of Game of Thrones fans or whatever, right? That was the only place that I thought that I could think of to watch it because I couldn't watch it at home. I didn't have any friends that had HBO or anything like that. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be fun. It's going to be like, when you go to like a Halloween viewing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show or something. There's just going to be a bunch of nerds there nerding out about it, right? So I go to this gaming cafe and I'm the only one there. I'm the first one there. So I buy my ticket. I sit down. I'm ready to go. The owner is there as well. And him and I are just kind of like chatting because it's maybe 10 minutes before the finale airs or something. So, just chit-chatting about it. And then people start filtering in. He is actually there's a knock at the back door. So he goes into the stock room and lets a few people in the back door. So eventually this room fills out with about, not a ton, maybe 20 people total. It turns out that all of those people that were there, just this dude's family. It was just
nice.
His
Man.
Aunts and uncles and his cousins and like the little kids and stuff. And it turns out that no one had bought a ticket to this event except for me. I don't know why they were allowed to sell it, but it was just me and this guy's entire family. So anytime I remember Game of Thrones, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the time that I just went to go watch it with just some other dude's family. Just amazing. One random stranger coming in to watch the Game of Thrones.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
So uncomfortable. His mom was like offering me food and stuff. Oh, how do you know James or whatever? I'm like, I don't.
Really? Oh, no.
Yeah, I think she thought I was his friend or something. And I'm like, no, I'm actually the only one that paid to be here. So, yikes.
That's on him. Why didn't he disclose that to you? I feel like he'd be like, yo, just by the way, like nobody bought tickets to this thing and my whole family's coming.
It's pretty bad practice, yeah, because he said that the tickets were almost sold out.
Oof.
And turns out that's fair. Maybe he was only selling 2 tickets and
oh yeah, it's like almost sold out, man. That's half of them. Sold half the tickets.
Yeah, so pretty upset about that.
Yeesh. Sorry to hear that you had to go through that ordeal.
Yeah,
it sounds like a mega cringe fest.
Oh my gosh, exactly. Yeah, it was a letdown for me in multiple ways, that show. All right, let's move on from some of these disappointing ones. Gigs, talk to us maybe about another series or show that's kind of on the top of your list for something that you really enjoy that you want to talk about.
Okay, so this one's on Amazon Prime, and it's The Expanse. I gush about The Expanse. Yeah. So The Expanse is a sci-fi show. I want to say there's 5 seasons. It ended. Okay. Yeah, I think it ended 3 years ago. I believe was the end of the last season, and it is like one of the best sci-fi shows I've ever watched. It's wonderful. It's so good. It's very scientifically accurate, if you could say that, for a space show, for a sci-fi show. And like the characters are sick. The story is incredibly weird and intriguing and really, really interesting. Yeah, I love it. It was one of my favorite. It was actually one of the only things I actually watched on Amazon Prime, and that was like one of the whole reasons I like held on to it for so long. It was just to finish The Expanse.
No, have you seen The Expanse, Lex?
No, I never even heard of it, to be completely honest.
Yeah, it's not super well known, but like among people that like sci-fi stuff, that's like top of many people's lists.
I think I've mistaken this for what I thought in my head was Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh,
it's like just like a show about space, like literally talking about space and science stuff. That's not what The Expanse is, though, right?
No. The Expanse is like an actual. Well, I mean, there's novels. There's like a whole series. I don't read, so I don't know if the novels are any good. But like the show adaptation apparently is pretty faithful to the novels, and if you're like kind of a geek about accuracy when it comes to space related things, it's really good, to the point where it's really accurate to the point where it becomes like more story driven and about the weird stuff in space. But like up until that point, it's like they're super accurate about how people travel through space, the effects of space, and like political and what's societal kind of changes that would happen if people lived in space and stuff. It's really good.
Give me like a little gist of like what's the show about, like the story, I guess.
Yeah, so I've seen it described this way, and I think it's pretty accurate. But it's most of the show is almost like a space D&D group's story. So so the main cast is a group of people from different parts of like each faction, we'll say, in the world. So that's people from Earth, that's people from Mars, people from the belt, which are like that people that live literally in space, like they don't live on a planet. They're called belters. And then you have like a group of these people from different backgrounds, and they're essentially like the party, the D&D party, space D&D party. And it kind of follows their journey through the political and societal landscape of the world that they live in, or the space environment that they live in. So they deal with conflicts that happen between Earth and Mars. They deal with the Belters and their like uprising, because they're consider them to be like they're like the downtrodden minority, we'll say, group in space. Okay. Right.
Is it like the equivalent of people that live in the slums?
Yes, kind of totally.
Oh, okay.
So they would be, considered lower than people that live on Earth, or people that live like actual Martians. So that's people that colonized on Mars. And yeah, it kind of just follows this group and their journey throughout this, and then they also kind of discover some cool space stuff, like mythical, a substance that does weird things, and so kind of like it's kind of like following their story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they kind of like they're questing. They're doing
Totally,
things.
totally. They somehow procure their own ship, and then they do things. They do things, and on behalf of different groups and factions and governments, and it kind of just follows this group. Yeah,
yeah. It's like literally like space D&D. It sounds like.
Well, totally, because like, especially when you get to know the characters, you can kind of start to pin them down and be like, all right, Amos is like, he's the low int, good-hearted, strong guy. You know what I mean? He's like the barbarian, but in space.
The Drax.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it kind of like, they all kind of have defined roles, and it's really cool to just like see how the interplay is between, because they all have their own interests, because they all come from different backgrounds, but I would say they're on the side of quote unquote good, that are trying to like bring people together in a way.
Yeah.
But through their own means. It's super fascinating. And again, if you're like into lore accuracy or space accuracy, science, it's like really well thought out, and it shows what like space battles would actually look like, or how people actually travel through space, and like how artificial gravity would actually work, and all this kind of stuff. So
cool.
Yeah.
Would you say that this is a show that could grip you pretty quick? Not like The Office or Parks and Rec where you have to like put in a season?
For me, yes, because I like that kind of thing from the get-go.
Yeah.
I mean, they get right into the cool stuff right away. Like the first episode, they kind of get into something that I thought was really intriguing, and what interested me was they kind of explained that because people grew up on the belt, or belters, they grow up without gravity, that they grow differently. Like they literally are, like their bone structure, they're physically so much different. And one of the things that they show in I'm pretty sure it's the first episode, is because belters are, downtrodden, they're very rebellious, and they're trying to fight for their own rights. They show a point where one of the belters gets, what do you call it? Or like arrested, captured, and is tortured on Earth. And the way that they tortured him is they just hung him from like coat hangers off the wall. Not coat hangers, but like just little hooks that come off the wall. They just put his arms around him. And because his muscles aren't developed, and he's so like the actual gravity of Earth is torture enough. Like he can't get out of such a simple situation by our standards, but because he grew up in the belt, it's torture for him. It's really cool that they like go into that kind of detail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just got like, that's the kind of thing that hooked me, because I'm like, oh, these guys are like really think about this. So I want to see like what else they can get into.
Yeah. They put like thought and intention into what's going on. They're not just throwing something there because it's like space cool.
Yeah, totally.
Okay,
and if you're into like intriguey stuff, like Game of Thrones, you know how everybody, you can't trust anybody. Everybody's like out for their own thing, and like people do crazy shit. Yeah, that's like there's a lot of that too. Like when they follow the other people outside of the core group, they show like the lengths people will go to protect their own people, or to pursue their own goals. And it's very like, it's very tense. And it's just really good.
I'm going to have to check that out for sure. I've kind of heard it in passing here and there. In general, the only thing that I've heard is that people have said that it's good. But I think everything that you described sounds like stuff that I'm into. I've been listening to a lot of like Neil deGrasse Tyson podcasts about space and stuff lately. And this sounds like it's right up my alley right now. So I'm going to check it out.
It's super good. They like really took the time. I'm pretty sure they got a bunch of like physicists and stuff to like consult when they wrote the books. Like the people that wrote the books are like physicists and stuff, I think. So they know their stuff, and then the showrunners made sure to like keep true to that. And so anything that they can double check, they do. It's it's super cool. Yeah.
I always like when they bring in like experts in the field of whatever the show or movie or whatever is, because it gives it that like extra level of authenticity where you're like, it almost, for me, you know how like there are some things that happen in movies or shows or games or whatever, and it just kind of takes you out of it, like from like a disbelief perspective. You're like, come on, you know, there's no way that the bus in Speed can jump that whatever 200-foot gap without a ramp.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, there's no ramp.
You know what I mean?
In the movie, I never understood that either. I'm like, it goes straight down as soon as it's off the road. It's going straight down.
Yeah.
Like that's like, how physics works.
I know, right? And it kind of takes me out of it because I'm like, you had me right up until that.
Yeah, come on, Keanu.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a pass because it's Keanu, but
that's true.
But otherwise, yeah. Okay, cool. So The Expanse, I'm gonna definitely check that out, and then I'll report back, Gigs, with some thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Plus, like, oh yeah, I can nerd about that all day. It's really, really good. Plus, I believe I'm not 100% on this, but a big portion of the cast is Canadian, and like I think I'm not sure if it's not Canadian made, but like I think they partner with I think it's the BC film thingamajig.
Okay.
The film the company or the film association, and it's super cool. But yeah, like a bunch of the actors, if you look them up after, they're like, a bunch of them are from like Vancouver and Toronto, and that alone made me a huge fan. One of the main actresses that everybody kind of like falls in love with that they show, she's from Calgary, so it's pretty sweet.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's like most American NHL teams. They're not a Canadian team, but most of the players are Canadian.
yeah. I think that's super cool. So check it out. It is long. Every episode's an hour, so you know, amongst 5 seasons, it's a long watch. But and it's got Thomas Jane. So you know, is it Tom Jane? Tom Jane, Punisher.
Thomas Jane, Punisher. Yeah, nice. And do you think that because you said the show's done, like the show has ended?
Well, I mean, as far as I know, I haven't really kept up to date since it ended, but I'm fairly certain it's just like done because it was a big deal.
And it's not going to be a punch in the nuts for an ending.
No, the ending is really, there's moments of the ending that have stuck with me. It's very like it follows the book. It's done. Like it was already written before the show was made, so like it follows the story of the book. So. There's nothing out of the ordinary in terms of disappointing, fly by the seat of your pants kind of stuff.
All right, good.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm looking for my next series watch is to commit to something that's not going to disappoint me so much at the end.
You're just like, I just spent how many hours investing myself in this?
Right.